It's Sunday, September 18th, 2022. This morning there's two pieces worth mentioning that have come on the television. And they seem to have this thematic in their verse. The first is CBS 2 at 7 a.m., which is First Alert Weather is what it's called. And John is reporting from West Orange. He speaks to two girls dressed in short and talking about driver safety. Then later on, he gets a second set of female drivers in a New Jersey. And he goes on about traffic safety, common sense, and rules of the road. Then it flips to Jets Gameday with Robert, I think he pronounces it Saleh, sponsored by Microsoft Surface. Meanwhile, there's a hurricane over the British Isles named Fiona. But it has the word CAIN in it for Adam, bloodline of Adam and bloodline of Cain. So then, as this Jets Gameday piece was about to begin, they have this Verizon commercial. It mentions something of a word of severance, which I've never heard used before in public commercial, which I'm unclear about. And then I was thinking about it, and I'm like, severance, does that have to do with sick leave or sick pay? I was like, and is that why common perception has changed due to sick and dark humor? In these higher order concentration places? Then it speaks in this Verizon commercial about 14 Pro. And I'm like, are they talking about Cattaruzza? Because it starts with CAT. Just so HIS, IHS, CHS is all in some whatever. Then the way that Robert Saleh starts the special or the game day mention, he speaks of this player called Reed, Reed, who wears the number Vier, Vier in Tedesco, or FOUR in Anglais or English. And they talk about him on game day losing his father. Now, from House of Lords to House of Commons, and losing the patriarch of the season before I arrived, or the season before that, before I arrived. I mean, talking about Caesar, Marcus Aurelius, for my purpose. Right before game day, he loses his patriarch. Now, I don't know if this has to do with World War I, World War II, but for bloodline of Adam and bloodline of Cain, and whatever's going on in New York at the moment, at any level, then they actually have a commercial that's spelled Kean, but they pronounce the sound for the ear like Cain, as if it was, they use the letters Kean, similar to CAIN. And that message said that cougars climb higher. Excuse me. I'm in the middle of something. I understand, but let me finish, please. I only have one space to do this. Thank you. Take your conversation elsewhere. Thank you. So that's what I'm watching. That's what they threw at me this morning. So this Cougars Climb Higher is a really frightening message. I'll put that on first. Now here's a commercial right before Kane. So before they talk about this cougar, they're talking about Duncan and falling hard.
They said you wouldn't do it. They said you'd give up. But fall is here. And your car has a 650-pound pumpkin on it. Fall hard with Duncan.
Nothing has ever been handed to me. I've had to work for it. On the field. And off the field. Kane worked with me. Guided me. Helped me climb higher. To get where I belong. To change my life.
Hey, welcome to the team.
Cougars Climb High. Kane University.
You're gonna like this story.
Really, I don't know what they're doing here. The common sense and the common area fatherland representative died before I arrived. And this is now 4 decades into my life frame and 7 decades in my father's life frame and mother's life frame here. And this is how they're explaining their part in this New York section of lying in state.
Pro?
Yeah, with this amazing new camera. Smile.
And you got it on Verizon.
Even better. I got Verizon's new plan. Includes Apple One. That's Apple Music, Apple TV Plus, Apple Arcade.
Apple. As in the Big Apple? As in the Empire? As in Empire State? Now, is that before the fall? Is that falling hard? Is that falling on my face? Because my face is representative of a earlier George I just figured out, which I don't know if it's this George or this George. Gets a little confusing, but I know it's one of those two Georges, according to the whatever, but he's not the only one. I just don't know who the other referenced ancestors are, because nobody in this area, as they are falling hard on their own swords or words, are very helpful, even though I'm stuck as the eagle docked in the eagle's nest safe harbor for quite some time. And now I'm retreated into some fallout shelter within a city limit that I am looking around and going, where is my coach's corner? Here, it says severance. Again, I don't know if severance has to do with sick pay at Kane. Is this a Kane representative? I'm not quite sure. It's a blood test. So, and it's a POS as opposed to an NEG.
In iCloud Plus.
I hear the acting's pretty good on that one.
So is the deal I got from Verizon. iPhone 14 Pro on that. You should get one. Ooh, selfie time. Wow, you can hustle when you need to.
Get a new iPhone 14 Pro on us. And get it with one unlimited for...
Says 14 Pro on us. You mean like the us, like it used to be, where there was somebody at the helm before we entered this state of some sinew that looks like a Sula? I'm just curious. I mean, again, it depends on how we're versing things in this multiplex, complex, ION issue that keeps getting addressed all wrong, but formality being so hard to come by, and very little being taught as to what's acceptable, who is, and how to reach one's own lineage and heritage for help in their apparent responsibility within a life frame. Again, these things I'm at a loss at the moment, but I'm trying to figure out my way through this piloted program by who's doing the driving. So now I'm going to go to this Hurricane Fiona in the British Isle that they're warning about. And then it goes to this John, the weatherman or the meteorologist, and they showed King Charles III. At one point he actually made in a different area, not in New York, but they made a mention in New York like the other night that he actually casted the weather once, and he made reference to something called Belmaro. I'm not real clear on what that is from the Eagle Stock in Safe Harbor. Not feeling very whatever on the bay at the moment, or being split between bay and the ocean side. Here's the first alert weather about the first set of girls who are driving motor vehicles, which means they're driving automobiles, and how they are dressed in this modern society after Reed lost his father in this Gameday operation, which apparently doesn't look like it's being operated in a logistically cohesive mannerism that would have led to a formal approved situation for myself, being that I was a atom representative that was looking forward to having children, except that's been ripped from my whatever storyline.
Andrea Grimes, much more in our top stories in a moment, but
for not just apparent, but for inherent casting issues and forward projection issues that some know about, just haven't handled in a mannerism that's acceptable to my person.
But first, a check on the forecast. John Elliott is live in West Orange, New Jersey with our first alert forecast. Hi, John.
So all I gotta say.
So now, this is John. He's in a place called West Orange, New Jersey. These two girls, because that's what they're called at that age, have no pants on. And this look is apparently during the fall and the autumn, since they're cohesive. So they just, I mean, in my area of specialty, they have a difference. But in colloquial modern society, they mean exactly the same thing, and they have no idea why. Or what their their predicates and their conversation actually means.
Andrea is like, look it, I know I'm delicate. Aren't you guys freezing?
Very.
Are you freezing?
Yes.
Is this what they call a cold day in hell? At Hellhounds and Hell's Angels? I'm just curious. It's Hella. Helen for Troy. I'm in West Troy, according to the Bell of Morrow.
tell me your name.
I'm Sophia.
And
I'm Kara.
and you're here for Stop for Nikhil. It's all about safety. You guys safe drivers?
Very much so.
Very much so.
Yes, very much so.
So now, as if there weren't enough men on the road, I don't see them as business opportunities. The more vehicles on the road, the more air pollution, the warmer the climate, the harder the future is to control for the children that still do exist and will be here in whatever order they're timed by greater things than humans have control over. But someone cares whether they're driving or not and makes arguments in all the wrong mannerisms for all the wrong reasons because they don't fully understand the grand concept of things. It's you don't want to have more unscheduled visitors just having access to anything and everything all at once. It makes land management incredibly difficult, and when the dangerous arrive, it's hard to tell apart, but it's also hard to maneuver around so many extras on certain fields, moving about as they will, and really upset when they're inconvenienced for things like putting real killers away that were not authorized to hunt on certain hallowed grounds.
Good. Now, go warm up. Somehow, I'll tell you what they're up against. I thought, man, they got to be cold. The irony is, that's going to be the way you want to dress this afternoon. We are going to warm up dramatically,
1 second.
but it's chilly right now. And even Vince saying any kind of a breeze you really feel. Still,
Oh, it's a tropical storm, Fiona. On the other weather alert, it said hurricane. So, and here it's right over the British Virgin Islands.
5 miles an hour moving west-northwest at 8. Look at the proximity.
Now here's the second first alert weather. Speaking to a different group of girls. They are wearing pants, not shorts, not skirts, but they also are in motor vehicles, in automobiles, and haphazardly just able to move anywhere within this land region, which for me poses, not because they're women, because that's what the stupid automatically jumps to in their conclusions with their illogical way of handling and processing information, with this theoretical father that's gone missing according to what they're also projecting on this screen. But let's go at the moment to this one cast, and then we'll go back to Robert Saleh and what he says about Gameday with Reed losing his father.
Time now is 7:16. Time to head back outside to West Orange, New Jersey, where John Elliott is for our first alert forecast. Good morning, John.
Okay, first off, Andrea, I have to do a real quick check. Did everybody reach mom or dad? Because you're live on TV right now. Yes. Excellent. So these are the mom.
So they have the people that drag them into this world. They're still alive. But for other conversations that try to make everything difficult at every gate, it feels that fatherland, motherland connection and relationship seems to be in some state of mourning at the moment.
Mountaineer mentors. What's your name?
Sierra, D. Jenny, Trisha, Jessica.
Juniors and seniors here at West Orange High School getting volunteer hours by volunteering for great causes. This is all about traffic safety. What do you know about traffic safety?
Well, traffic safety is obviously very important, and a lot of people die from people not being safe on the road.
Shocking numbers of people. You guys are all right there, either you have your license or getting your license. What are you going to do to make sure you're a safe driver?
I'm going to make sure to watch the streets before I cross them, stop at every stop sign, make sure I'm watching the kids, cross the street before I drive.
These are such common sense things, but when you're around as you're learning to drive, there's so many people that don't follow the rules. First off, you just took your coat off. Aren't you freezing? You have this great coat.
Yeah, it's a little cold, but you know, it's okay.
Everybody's watching though, right?
Right.
So you have your license, right?
I do.
How scary is it to learn to drive?
It is because a lot of people on the road are not like very good drivers, and it's hard driving with people that are like that. But
Well, first off, I want to thank you guys for volunteering. I wish you all success in your endeavors. I'm glad you all had phones so you can make sure everybody's watching you on TV, but that's one of the big things, distracted driving. Look at, you're on TV now. All right, so now watch what, now this is what we do. We're going to go to graphics, and you're going to see the graphics right there. This is so cool. And
So now in New York, we have private roads. They're not tolled roads, Toll. They're private. They were built on the backs of the monopolists or the oligarchs prior to my arrival. Same thing with the bridges. Same thing with a lot of the structure in this area. Just because there's new arrivals that don't want to listen to what history actually is and what the rules actually are, I don't see where management is having much of an issue here. Why isn't it enforced more? Whatever. All right, it's called Inside the Walls.
Presented by Microsoft Surface.
Kickoff, he finds out that his dad had passed, and then he goes out and plays the way he did.
Yeah, a lot of these young men go through a lot of stuff that I don't think people really know. Obviously, there's lives are personal, and I made mention of it before. Sometimes we get lost that these are young men who have lives, with regards to social media and all the different things that we have. But just a testament to all of them. Obviously, DJ takes center stage in this, but they're all dealing with stuff every day. They're human like everyone else. And for DJ to get the information the way he did when he got it, on an already emotional day with it being 9/11 and the opening day, and to be able to stay focused and play the way he did was awesome on his part.
What about the way he played? One interception, one pass defense, one forced fumble. I mean, you're talking about a historic performance for a guy. The first time he's suiting up in green and white.
No, I know, and it got lost, obviously, with the result, but he's exactly why we brought him in here. He's opportunistic. He's very disciplined. I love the fact that the interception was on a go ball. Put it to bed early. That if a quarterback wants to try him on a go ball, you're gonna have problems. And I think when you put that on tape early, it lasts the whole season. And he's a physical run defender, so if you are running the ball his way, he will find a way to get the ball out. And I love his tenacity and his relentlessness, and it showed obviously in this first game, and it's something that I think fans can learn to expect.
Yeah.
And I think it's a testament to who he is.
Ups and downs with the rookies offensively, but Garrett Wilson and Priest Hall won.
And again, this is what happens with these paradoxical overlays, with my younger generation being the smallest. It loses the message because they're not in the same discovery mode that I'm in tracking and watching this theoretical Hurricane Fiona. Only other time I've ever heard this name Fiona ever mentioned is she's the princess that looks like an ogre in Shrek. One of my personal favorite movies, because it was after I had the problem with the Cain person as son of Adam, and had the first child. It was what we would sit with, just the child and I, and watch over and over and over again, because it brought a little bit of happiness and my ability to stay focused and watch this story, because I really don't find much entertaining about any of this. But that one particular DreamWorks movie in a CGI worked out pretty good. And I'm in this at the moment. It's star 1978, star 8378, Nicole Cattaruzza. So it's his birthday today. It's actually his 23rd birthday. I'm here now 44 years. And my parents in their 70s. It's star 1978, star 8378, Nicole Cattaruzza. It's Earth, solar system, Milky Way, universe, galaxy is broken. And it's Bayside Station, Bayside, New York, 11361.